If you have a question about comic books, this guy knows more than almost anybody in the world. Michael, you're already the editor of Back Issue Magazine. So he'll be interviewing Mr. Ferrigno for Back Issue Magazine and for you guys. So this is going to be in a magazine in the future, so you guys are part of that. So thank you everybody for coming. Thank you, Liv.
All right, ready to get started?
I just want to say one thing. Yesterday I was at the Army base, and I told the soldiers, you probably have soldiers here, that you guys are really the hero, not the Spider-Man, not Captain America, and all. Those guys here, the soldiers here, are the best heroes. They're the ones who keep our country safe. God bless them all, and thank you so much for the military.
All right, folks. So this is great for me. I'm really looking forward to this. So let's talk for a little bit. You and I share something in common, and I know it was a motivating thing in your life. Other than our biceps, we actually have. All right. That was just sad from my side. Anyway, we have a hearing loss, and that was a motivating factor for you early in your life. Can you talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, because at 12 to birth, I lost like 75%, 80% of my hearing, and I was very introverted as a child. So I had a severe speech impediment. So as a kid, I was ordered a lot. They would call me deaf, deaf mute. So children do not have the psychological defense to defend themselves. So I became obsessed reading comic books like the home because I wanted to escape the pain. So the more I read about it, the more I was obsessed with power. And that made me discover bodybuilding, working out. That was my platform to survive, and it changed my whole life. Well, I had a lot of hardship because to learn how to speak properly, and also, wearing hearing aids, old-fashioned hearing aids. I felt like a freak because people were looking at me because we're talking about like 57 years ago. So I was ridiculed a lot. But I never, ever felt sorry for myself. It's all about working with yourself. Like I say, everybody in this room is handicapped one way or another. It's all about being the best you can be. Because just sometimes you have naysayers. They say you can't. Every dream I've had, I was achieved and accomplished because of my drive. That's what I'm just saying to you. You have a passion about something, embrace it, because when you have passion, you're unbeatable, you're unstoppable.
All right, let's give him a hand for that. That is true. That is true. When did you start weight training?
I began weight training by the age of 12 or 13. And what's funny? I didn't have weight. I couldn't afford it. So I would go to the junkyard. I would get the cement pail, like 6 cement pail. I filled it with cement. Some I filled halfway, some 3/4 to the broomstick. And I'll never forget, I stood up, and the first time when I picked it up and I started to curl, I realized that this made me feel good. I just liked it because that friend of mine, they had weights, I couldn't afford weight. But I remember working out with this makeshift barbell. I was able to do something that I felt good about myself. And people laughed at me because back in those days, nobody heard of bodybuilding, like weight training this day. My father would say to people, my son works out with weights and doesn't talk about school or he's obsessed with weight. But that really changed my life because I learned to connect the mind and the body.
And you said that you read comics when you were a kid. You had some heroes. Who were your heroes when you were a kid?
I read Superman comics, the whole comic. Funny, I traded all the comic books for Muscle Magazine. If I stayed at the comic book that I when I was a kid, I could have bought this building 10 times over.
And Steve Reeves is one of your childhood heroes?
Yeah, Steve Reeves was the original Hercules. And I went to the movies and when I went to see the film, I saw him holding 2 gigantic pillars. That changed my whole life because I said to myself, this is the first time I've ever seen a bodybuilder on screen. So it changed my life because he had a beard, he was like about 30-some years old, and he had this beautiful woman he saved. And those days you want to have a girlfriend. As a kid, I couldn't talk to a girl. I always wanted to have a girlfriend. And so those dreams coming true. See, was like the beginning of my era.
And when did you win your first bodybuilding competition?
My first bodybuilding competition, I decided to compete. It was called the Mr. Open New Jersey Regular Competition. I came 23rd place. But I remember that night I was on stage, people taking pictures, flag boats going off. And my friends, they laughed at me when I was on stage. I came 23rd place. But I said to myself, this is my path. And what's funny, I went home, I told my father, I'd never come less than 3rd place again. From that point on, I started with all the major competition. But you gotta remember one thing. I trained very, very hard. Harder than the average person because to be a world champion, you never left pain. And with my body, I was skinny. As a matter of fact, I was like 220 pounds at 19. And I competed on and off about 27 years ago.
The first time I ever saw you was not in the Hulk. It was a couple of years before that, Pumping Iron in 1975, the documentary.
What's your favorite governor? Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Tell me about what Pumping Iron was.
Yeah, we did Pumping Iron back in 1975. It's a great docudrama because most kids today are not aware of Pumping Iron. We went to South Africa to compete. That was the only film that took us to the mainstream because the public did not know about bodybuilding. So Pumping Iron came out, the public, everybody learned about bodybuilding. Now, if you fast forward 40 years later, you have women, you have men competing, you have kids working out in the gym. In my time, we only had one gym, like YMCA, RJ Health Club. It was a guy's thing. But now everybody's into fitness and bodybuilding.
1977, that's when most of the world got to know you as the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
And so how did you get cast as that?
Well, I was training for the 1977 Olympic competition. So they were filming a Hulk with another actor named Richard Kiel, who played George and James Bond, 7 feet tall. So one day the director came on the set with his son. The boy said, "Dad, this is not the Hulk, this looks like the character." They realized they had a problem. They did a nationwide search call, casting call. They found me because they wanted to find the biggest bodybuilder they could find that able to act. I went down for the screen test, and they said, "Okay, we're going to paint you green." I said, "What?" I tried to say that I got a plane to catch. I tried to get out of this. So they compensated me for it. They paid me green, they put this makeup on, and I'm standing in front of the camera, and they say, "Be like the Hulk." Okay, Hulk, make all these different motions. I was nervous. I was hired that day. The next day, I was in the makeup for like 12 to 14 hours a day, and I'm looking in the mirror and thinking to myself, what am I doing here? I look in the mirror, I see these white eyes and the teeth, but the rest is history. But when I first began filming, people didn't know who the Hulk was, but once the Hulk was in the air, everything changed. So it was a big decision for me to make because I wanted to win the 1977 Winter Olympia, but I chose to do the Hulk, and I guess I made the best decision.
So you were in the makeup sometimes 12, 14 hours because of the shoot, but how long did it take you to get into the makeup?
The makeup took like 3.5 hours to put on, 4 hours, because back then we didn't have to spray because they had an ball clay, they would just rub it in, but the face took like an hour and a half. So I'll be the first one on the set. In my own home, I had a custom green shower bill, because every time I would take a shower, when I first began to shower, the whole home would be covered with green paint. So I had 2 makeup guys scrubbing the makeup off my back. Sometimes I would leave the set maybe 2 o'clock in the morning because I would be filming like 12 to 14 hours a day sometimes, and I had to endure that makeup. I had a baby touch all day long. It was extremely uncomfortable. You know what's funny? One time when I was filming, it was about 12 o'clock in the morning. So we had this big catering truck. So in the morning for breakfast, I would usually have like a 12-egg omelet. Okay, so I said to the catering truck, I want a 12-egg omelet. Just put on the motorhome on the set outside because it was kind of hot. Well, the catering truck said they had to leave because they had to go to a different location. I said, okay, no problem. So the truck takes off. I'm out in the pitch black in my motorhome, just me and the makeup man. So 15 minutes later, I started to feel hungry. I said, wanted to retrieve my omelet. So my makeup man opened the door, the omelet was gone. The coyote ate my breakfast. I'm saying to myself, damn it, I'm in the mountain here, I have no breakfast. She wondered why I'm so pissed. That's when some of the scenes, she wondered why I'm so angry. So you can blame that on the lack of breakfast.
So another makeup question. Now, it wasn't just the green paint on your body. You had like an application for your forehead. Didn't you have teeth that they played?
Yeah, what happened, I had a forehead appliance, like a nose piece and a forehead piece. We put grease on it. And then before I filmed, they would put the contact lens in as a key. But the contact lens, I would only wear for 15 minutes at a time because they were a lot of contact, and sometimes it burns your eyes. It's very uncomfortable because today it's much easier. You can wear contact for like 10 hours. But for me, it's only 15 minutes at a time.
Ever any adverse reactions to the makeup? Physical?
No, I just got my toenails and squeezed for 6 months when I finished filming.
Tell me about Bill Bixby. He seems like, from me seeing him on TV, just one of the nicest guys in the world. So you never really worked with him because obviously you were the same guy. But what about him as a person?
In the Maddie show, we speak to Bill and I in the dream sequence. Bill was a wonderful actor, director, producer. As a kid, I grew up with Bill Bixby. He did a TV series called My Favorite Martian, Unfortunately His Father. So when I first time on the set, I was very excited because the first time I worked with an actor, I learned a lot from him, watching how he filmed, how he handled the dialogue. It was a great training base to me. He was a great mentor.
Do you have a favorite Incredible Hulk episode?
Yeah, I think maybe the second season, I was filming at the beach, by Venice Beach. I was in the motorhome, I was doing makeup, but I heard a knock on the door. I said, come in. Guy comes there with gray salt, pepper hair, and glasses with a kid. I turned around, I looked up, it was the famous movie star, Cary Grant. And he said, excuse me, I'm here with my nephew from England, I take a picture. And I looked at him, I couldn't speak, I was so mesmerized. He wasn't really involved in the Hulk. I just nodded my head. That was a great moment because that made me realize that the Hulk was so beloved by every country in the world.
Well, and
I want to spend time with you. If you have any questions, raise your hand, and then let's have some fun.
And I'm going to come out to you and get your question, and then Lou's going to answer your question. So, got a question for Lou Ferrigno? Give me a hand. Who wants to ask a question? You. I'm coming to you. Okay.
Would you ever become the Incredible Hulk again in any future movies?
Would you become the Hulk again in a future movie?
Well, I've done commercials over the years playing the Hulk. I don't think you ever see a human Hulk again because now it goes CGI. Because on the big screen. Since I've done the Hulk, I've done over 40 films and 5 different TV series. I don't care if I ever play the Hulk again, but I wouldn't mind being involved with the Hulk film. But like I said, it's over, so I'd rather leave the series the way it was because now it's all about CGI.
And let me add something to her question. Are you the voice of the Hulk in the current Marvel movies?
I've done the voice of the Avengers for the Marvel movie. I also did the voice. I think that this one could be Mark Ruffalo.
Yes.
I think it should be a short part of me and then the new Thor film. I'll get a chance to check it out.
And we're all looking forward to that, but that's uncredited, isn't it? They don't list you in the credits.
Right, but they didn't mention it on IMDb. But the thing is that when I did the series, I didn't do the voice. I've always wanted to because back then they wanted the Hulk to have like a deep voice, but I was more into making the Hulk sound primitive. So I had a chance to do the animated cartoon to play the voice. So that kind of like icing on the cake.
You got a question right here.
Since you're doing the voice, do you watch, like, keep up with the current movies? Who's your favorite Hulk in the movies, like between Eric Bana or Edward Norton or Mark Ruffalo?
You know, they keep changing all the time. I much prefer Bill Bixby because Bill was a unique actor. Mark Ruffalo was very vulnerable, a wonderful actor. But I like Bill because the fact that it was different, a different time era. So they were good actors, but as long as they can stay with Ruffalo, because we had Eric Bana, then we had Edward Norton, and then Mark Ruffalo.
Okay, so it's not really a question, but I just want to say, as a person that grew up in the 70s, you were my Hulk. So, I mean, so we watched you all the time, and so you're the Hulk of me growing up watching.
That only makes me love you more. I love you so much. Thank you.
Wonder Woman has a question.
How many hours a day did you have to work out when you were on PhD?
I would say about 3 hours a day because we're talking about training 2 hours a day, the pose, the diet, the standing. I would say an hour and a half in the morning, and then an hour and a half in the afternoon, and in the evening I work on my posing. She's talking about bodybuilding competition. Bodybuilding today is considered one of the hardest sports in the world because one day of the year you have to be in your best shape. If you get sick, if you're off 10%, you lose. So at the time when I came back to competition, in 1992, I was 325 pounds. Because when I finished Pumpkin Iron, I went into the whole series. I decided one day I never had a chance to be the best I can be. I came back at 42 years old after 17 years.
Okay, your turn.
How many episodes have you ever done?
On the show, 90.
90.
5 years.
19 episodes, and you.
Lou, what was your average calorie intake when you worked out? Like your meals?
I mean, today or before? Today, before I was probably 5,000 calories a day. When I was training for competition, I was consuming almost 400 grams of protein, maybe 450 grams of carbohydrate. But you have to eat like 4 or 5 grams a day. Like one time I was sitting down with my family, I was competing, and I was eating, so there was an extra tomato, but my daughter wanted to have a tomato. I took this apart, I said, this is my food, I'm starving. so I got somebody to present it for the kid.
Here's a question.
So how attached were you to the character? Hulk as a character in themselves, and were they relatable to you?
How attached were you to the character of the Hulk?
What?
Attached. How
I
much?
was a Hulk my whole life. I could read the comics, and that's why when I filmed the Hulk, it came down to it for me, because at the time when I filmed the Hulk in full pantomime without speaking, I was able to show the emotions without speaking because it came down to it for me. It's, you know, living the life of the Hulk, so that's why I was perfect to play the part.
With Pumping Iron, do you have any funny stories with you and Arnold? Because I know he kind of looked at you as the new kid, and really he was just amazed by you. You could tell he was really inspired by you just as much as, you know.
Well, I do have a funny story. One time we did a prejudging, and there was a guy competing named Paul Grant. So we were walking around the room. I was laying on the floor, you know, with Arnold laying next to me on the floor, waiting to go out for the night competition. So this guy Paul said, I have no technically no baby or no baby or kind of nervous. Arnold took on the tool to go, this is good. You can your body. It was a good showing. It was fantastic. But anyway, the guy rubbed all the cream on his body. And Arnold looked at me and he winked his eye, and I realized it was Ben Gay. Ben Gay. They had no writing on the tube. Those guys rubbed all the body and said himself, because I feel really hot. I'm sick of it. It was bad. It was bad. Think about rubbing bacon on your entire body. That's what kind of prank to be in.
All right. My question to you is, how was it like working with Stan Lee? And also, are you going to be doing something in the future for Marvel in the Ragnarok series or the Infinity Wars?
Well, Chris Stan Lee was great because as a kid, I could read about Stan Lee in the comic book. He's 95 years old. I had a chance to do a couple of the films with him. He was one that episode of the Hulk. And he's an iconic guy. Now, talking about the Thor movie, I filmed the scene, so we'll see what happens when it comes out in 2 weeks. Yeah, very surprised.
Actually, a statement and a question, sir. Love you, watched you growing up, you're an awesome man. How fun was it making I Love You Man? You were awesome in that.
That was great because I love you, man. You see what happened? I did a movie a long time ago with Dr. Louise and Rodney Dangerfield. And the people came and pointed at me on the show for 7 years because they wanted to know if I was able to play myself in comedy. But one day I received a script from John Hanford. He wrote the movie I Love You Man. He directed Zoolander on the show. So I said to him, I love the script, I need to add on more to the script. It was so funny because at the time we filmed, we got Jason Segel called one that said iconic actors. So I put Jason Segel in a chokehold. Do you know every time I do an convention, people say, when the come get like your boyfriend, would you put my husband in a chokehold? and I can tell they're probably angry. They say, come on, do what I can do in the film. So it's very funny that became a common signature for me. It was a great movie, those were great actors, and we had a lot of fun doing it.
I have a statement and a question. Me and my significant other wanted to come up with a question you had never heard before. I seriously doubt this is it. But there have been so many different versions of the Hulk. And Joss Whedon and Mark Ruffalo said theirs was sort of like an angry kid who was always being told to sit down and not play. But who was the Hulk to you? Like, what was he to you? What was the character to you?
What was the character inside of me?
Inside, yeah.
A very angry guy.
Very angry guy. Because a lot of the times he seemed
to... I anger when I filmed the episode and everything because of all the demons, you know. I had a chance to express all that. That's the name of the character, but it's the wrong character.
Thank you.
So did you actually psych yourself up like that, remembering some of the pain that you experienced as a kid?
Well, of course, when I do a scene, because whenever you do a scene in film, you have to know where you're coming from. And I watch a little history when you film this scene to see what the transition would be, and I would use whatever emotions I have in my life to channel myself in a particular scene. If sometimes it has to do with anxiety, it has to do with emotional sensitivity, crying, or just your anger, so I can use a lot of my anxiety for the character.
Thank you for being here, Mr. Ferrigno. On King of Queens, you and Kevin James seem to have very good chemistry and played off of each other very well. Will you be appearing on his newest show that he's got on CBS right now?
I think Kevin knows best or something.
Kevin can wait.
Kevin, yeah, definitely. I mean, if I get a chance, I'd love to do the show because we brought back the revenue. But most likely, they're probably going to like to get back on the show. I would love to do with Kevin, a wonderful actor. You know, most comedians, when they film, they're very subdued. If you get a chance to meet Kevin in real life, he's a very quiet individual. Because I didn't really expect comedians to be quiet 24/7. But him, Joey Shiro, and Lee Remedy, I mean, they're iconic.
Hi, how are you?
Wonderful.
I love you. You're awesome. I just wanted, what do you like to do for fun? What's your favorite pastime?
My favorite playtime? I've got different hobbies. I like shooting guns. Because I've been a deputy sheriff for 12 years, I like to shoot guns for competition. I'm not really into hunting, but I like long distance shooting. And also I like woodworking. Because I used to make furniture, which was very therapeutic for me. That's why I enjoy it, because I love anything that has self-competition. But it's interesting when you shoot high-power rifles like 500, 700 yards, or even handguns, or my police weapons shooting for the sheriff's department. That's my passion.
Are you strong enough to pick me up?
I don't know. We'll try it later. I'll pick you up on my feet.
Spider-Man.
How did you become the Hulk? Like, was he born green or was he born peach?
Green, like King of Hulk with green, how about
Mr. Ferrigno, this is a weird question, but do you actually have any Hulk figures from that particular series that you played him in?
Would you repeat that again?
Do you actually have any of the Hulk figures of which you played Hulk as?
Yes, I do. I have the largest memorabilia Hulk collection in the world.
Wow.
Someday I'm going to put them on for auction because I've got toilet paper, wallpaper, bicycles, soap, chewing gum, everything. You name it. Maybe I got something different today.
Wow.
Sorry, I love you. I'm actually wearing you. But I had always wondered if in the TV show, if it was styrofoam or actually like something heavier that you were throwing around all the time.
Like if I did any breakaway to like a window, then it was like the fan or sugar, so you want into yourself. Whenever you do a breakaway to any glass window, you have to keep moving. You can't stop it, in other words, you'll get cut. But they make sure that they have the best plot set up so I won't injure myself, because if I got injured, they would have to shut down production. But fortunately, I had great stunt people working for me.
Thank you for being here, Mr. Ferrigno. I have a question. Who do you believe would win between an all-out fight between Thor and the Hulk?
I would have to answer that question.
Now you actually met Thor in one of the Hulk movies that you did.
Yes, I did. And that's where the Hulk knocked him out. The cutie guy. I love Thor. I wrote about the hammer. You know what's amazing? They have so many different comic characters, like Marvel has like 100 different characters. So now they're integrating, like the name of the new Spider-Man film, you have Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man with Spider-Man, the Hulk, now you have the Avengers. I think it's wonderful because today you have so many alien actors playing superheroes. Because at the time when I was a kid, I used to come home, the only superhero was the original Superman series. I was obsessed with it because, you know, children really believe that Superman can fly. So now you fast forward later, you got all these great actors, all the superheroes, because every one of us, we connect with superheroes, got power. We want to be a superhero. That's why it's beautiful to see these eventually, because it gives us a chance to escape or the way we're living now.
And we're out of time, but on that note, let's give him a big superhero hand of applause. Thank you.
Before I sit down, I'm sitting next to a great gentleman here. His name is Sam Jones. Woo! Okay.
Flash!
This guy, he played Flash Gordon. I've been a big fan of Flash Gordon as a kid, but when he had a chance to be on the screen, I said, great. If I got a guy about 6'4" playing Flash Gordon, it's a great movie, and we've been friends for 37 years. So look at me over here signing autographs and get a chance to come over and say hi. And I want to thank you all for coming, and keep your passion. I love you, and God bless you all. Thank you.